We'll run down to recognizing persons in the audience. Please limit your comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. Would anybody like to get down and speak? Come on down.
Do you want me to sign in? Or?
Nope.
All right. Rod Dudley. And I just wanted to make a few comments on the TNR trap, neuter, and release. I know it's a big concern here in town, and I appreciate the letter that Chief Thompson put into the packet. It actually gave me a different perspective of why we can do things and can't do things. But I do appreciate the people that came forward to bring it up, mainly because it is a problem in parts of the town, for sure. And so if rewriting an ordinance or making it workable, doable, then that would prevent things like what happened to me when I was a little kid. When we moved into town, there was a cat that used to get in the garbage cans all the time, and my dad took care of that with a bat. So I can't imagine another kid having that trauma. And there really isn't any need if we can just figure out how to do that. Let's see here. That, and I forgot to say mayor and council. But anyway, I'm learning, trying to remind myself. And then also Merry Christmas to all you guys. And we'll see you next year.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
Anybody else? Come on down.
Hi, I'm Donna Carrasco. I have been taking care of a feral colony of cats around my neighborhood. I've single-handedly seen like the kittens just unneedingly, getting sick and dying. There's one that his eyes were so infected that, he had to be rushed in for emergency surgery to get his eyes removed. And it's just a horrible sight, and just unneeded. If we can get them fixed and spayed, and it's just unneeded suffering of these kittens. This one mama cat had 3 kittens. One didn't make it. One had to have his eyes, removed. And I had someone that was meeting here with some pictures for you guys too, but I don't see her here right now. but it's just, it's so important to get that help because I can't afford to do it all. There's so many of them. And there's so many more that need the help. And it's just so overwhelming they fight all the time. You just have so many diseases, and that's not something you want in your neighborhood. And it's all could be taken care of because they live healthier when they're spayed and neutered. They don't fight. They don't, and it keeps the numbers down because they just, they go off instinct, They just live, and it's not their fault that they are homeless, and they live like that. So if we can, do something about that, it would make so many neighborhoods so much healthier and happier for all the animals. And then you have pets too. Like if, I worry about my pets, being around the animals that are, sick as well, and what that's going to mean for, your pets as well. So it's a big situation in the town. So that's all I got.
Thanks, Donna.
Thank you. Thank you.
Councilman Brennan.
Donna, what was your name again? Donna what?
Donna Carrasco.
Carrasco?
Yes.
You live in the city?
Yep.
Okay,
I
thanks.
live over near West Elementary.
Thanks.
Anybody else? Come on down, sir.
I'm Don Merriman. Just became a resident officially today. Been here 6 months. Lived in Boise a long time. Anyway, I saw something about they were going to talk about TNR tonight. I thought it was going to be on the agenda, but since they're talking about it, I'll come out. I was involved in one of the biggest TNR programs in the country in Kansas, Manhattan, Kansas. Very similar. Have an Army base there, but there's also a college major college there. What happens in these communities like this, we've got a military base, is you have a lot of animals get abandoned, both dogs and cats. So anyway, they had a very aggressive TNR program. I personally was involved in saving hundreds of cats, getting them TNR'd and stuff. It is very important because they do interact with pets. There's not as much disease in it as I think people want to make it out to be. Cats aren't that bad of a disease carrying animal, but especially if you get them TNR'd and stuff. But I don't think we can solve it tonight, but I think it's something that should be looked at. The city of Manhattan was involved in it also. Fortunately, the university there is also one of the largest vet schools in the country. So they were involved in it. So we had some extra help there in Manhattan. It's a bigger community than here. But I do think it's something that if the city can help, we have dog parks for dogs, because I've heard a lot of comments, I don't want to help cats. I don't want to waste my money on cats. Well, we spend money on dogs, children, and all. I don't want to compare children to the dogs and cats, but I mean, it's, the city has to spend money on this stuff. So my wife and I, like I say, we were involved. We saved a lot of cats. A couple of communities we did on our own. I don't know what it needs to be done for the future. I don't want to take more than my 3 minutes, but I do think the TNR is very important. It makes all the animals better, and they become adoptable, a lot of them. These aren't feral cats. They're actually strays. There's a big difference in those two words. Most of them are stray. They're not feral. And so I think it's something that would be good for the community and would happily be involved in the future.
Thanks, Don.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all. It's a
Thank
great
you.
community.
Anybody else? Go on down.
I just had some folders for the council members and the mayor, if I can give those to you guys, just with some information on TNR. Would it be okay for me to?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. Hi, my name is Shannon. I've been trapping, neutering, and releasing for many years here in Mountain Home. When I moved here and bought my house 12 years ago, I knew nothing about feral cats or TNR. I grew up with cats and as an animal lover, but beyond that, I did not even know what feral cats were. When I moved into my house, a lady next door to me was feeding a large colony of cats and many kittens. About a month or so later, she moved out and the colony made their way to my deck and I began feeding them. There was no way I was going to let them go hungry, as I am against animal cruelty. I did, however, know that I needed to find a solution to help them and to stop them from having more babies. I didn't know where to start. I called the shelter here and was told, like many others, they were unable to help with ferals and would not be able to assist me. So I reached out to the Idaho Humane Society. Thankfully, I spoke to someone who was very helpful and had told me they had a program to help. At that point, they still helped people outside of Ada County. As of the last time I spoke to them earlier this year, they do not. So I drove in, borrowed 2 traps, and I trapped early morning and took them in there before work and picked them up after. It took about 2 years of trapping, fixing, fostering, and taking kittens into rescues who were young enough to tame, but I finally achieved 100% control over my colony. I have also been able to get control over several other colonies here in our community. Some are small, just a few cats, and some have been large, up to 60 cats. I also, up until just recently, ran a TNR program for a nonprofit here, and we had great success. We fixed over 300 ferals and strays in 2 years. There are many others here in our community who want to help ferals, get them fixed, and do the right thing, but they must be permitted to do so legally. Most of these people cannot afford to get them fixed, and do need help from an organization who can financially assist them. I am requesting that these organizations are allowed to continue and be in compliance with the law, as well as individuals like myself. I have been told by 2 city officials that the ordinances here prohibit TNR. Although I am not seeing anything written into the ordinances that specifically address feral or stray cats who have no owner. I am hoping that the city can find a resolution to legalize TNR here and be the kind of town that does what is right for people and pets. I would now like to emphasize the critical importance of trap, neuter, return as a humane and effective solution for managing our community's feral cat population. TNR is a proven method that not only improves the well-being of animals, but also helps safeguard our environment, our public health, and local neighborhoods. One is the humane and ethical treatment of animals. TNR provides an ethical approach to addressing the issue of feral cats. Is my time already up?
Go ahead and finish.
I'm sorry. And I gave this part to you, so I will just wait to read that and you guys can see that in your folder. The alternatives to TNR typically do not work. The alternatives to TNR are trap and remove, usually for euthanasia, a feeding ban, laws, licensing, at-large and pet limits, or you can do nothing. Doing nothing doesn't work because you're doing nothing. Cats will remain at the carrying capacity of the environment. This does not address the government's interest in animal control, public health, killing wildlife, and animal welfare. Trap and remove, euthanize doesn't work because there are too many cats and too few animal control officers, caretaker resistance and lack of public support, and the vacuum effect. New cats arrive to take advantage of vacated food and shelter. Why don't we just get rid of them all? Who's going to do that and who's going to pay for it? After decades of trying to remove them, the country, county, town has an exploding free-roaming cat population. Feeding bans don't work because they are unenforceable and caretakers will feed anyways. Cats don't pick up and move away. They remain, find new food sources if necessary, and continue to reproduce. The goal of starving cats to death is inhumane. People say ban anyone from feeding them and we won't have a cat problem, but you can't ban or outlaw compassion. Laws regulating cats don't work because licensing, running at large bans, and pet limits are largely intended to regulate owned cats, not community cats. Caretakers do not consider themselves owners. Let's pass a law requiring all cats to be confined. Who's going to break the bad news to the homeless cats that they are not allowed to roam free anymore? Who's going to catch the offenders and who's going to pay for enforcement? I do have some studies I could cite, some statistics as far as how well TNR works. There's several programs in our surrounding communities, including Boise, called Operation Community Cats. They're a nonprofit, and they pay 100% for the feral cats to be fixed through their program. This year alone, they fixed 750 outdoor cats. There's multiple other communities in the area that I could tell you about that have TNR programs. I'm just hoping that you guys will consider this important matter and we can move forward on it. Thank you.
Presentation by Elmer County SNIFF, and Daniel said that they are not coming tonight, so we will run down to final comments.
Mayor?
Councilwoman Workla?
Yeah, do you know if we're having a meeting with P&Z next week? Because I saw that email out.
I think Tip was trying to get everyone, if they were rocking and rolling, and then Brenda was supposed to get her people. Do you know, Chris, by chance?
I have not heard, Mayor.
I'll send out an email tomorrow and make sure.
It's just next
button
week,
that
so it's
up.
coming then.
Yeah, thank you.
Mayor,
Councilman Brennan?
question on item 3. Were these the same folks that presented in the 3 minutes? And
No.
then they just chose not to?
No, what was her name?
So I received a phone call today from Beverly, who was going to do the presentation. She said that she hadn't heard from the board if she could speak on the board's behalf. So she said that she wouldn't be here to do the presentation, but that some of the other members of the group were going to come and do the
3 minutes.
talk during the 3 minutes. So
Is Beverly the one that was here last time and kind of got reprimanded by the board for speaking out for the board without their permission?
I'm not sure who was at the last meeting. I'm sorry.
Okay. That's what it sounded like to me, and I guess I was trying to figure
Mayor.
it out.
Councilman Harjo.
On that note, purely for housekeeping, I'll make a motion to table non-action item presentation by Elmore County SNIFF until date uncertain.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilwoman Garvey?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilwoman Workla?
Aye.
Councilman Harjo?
Aye.
Okay. Well, if I don't see some of you, have a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Other than that, anything else for the council? All right, meeting adjourned. See you in 2025.